All right, so let's talk about Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Jeremy Stephens at UFC 235. I honestly can't believe that more people aren't talking about this fight and aren't kind of building the fight up more. But to be honest, I mean, this UFC 235 card is so stacked that it's kind of understandable that it's not being overshadowed, but it's just not being focused on as much as it generally would if we were just seeing Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Jeremy Stephens headlining a card. I think the complete focus would be on this fight. I mean, Zabit is one of the most powerful, most exciting up-and-coming fighters in the UFC, period. I mean, you've got Zabit and you've got Israel Adesanya right now that have true superstar potential coming after the Conor McGregor era, if you want to call it. But I mean, if you look at Zabit, he's coming off of 2 victories. He won his first 2 fights coming into the UFC. He had a crazy debut against Kyle Bochniak. I mean, those guys went to war. They absolutely slugged it out. Kyle was definitely a game opponent, but Zabit Magomedsharipov is just on another level when it comes to these guys. Then, of course, we had one of the only Suloev stretches to ever be pulled off in the UFC, done by Zabit versus Brandon Davis. So I mean, this guy truly has the potential to be one of, if not the biggest stars in the UFC. It's all just going to depend on how he handles this situation and how he handles the pressure. I mean, if you look at the guy, he's stone cold. He's basically a rock coming into the press conferences, the weigh-ins. He doesn't really talk a lot of shit. I mean, the guy truly seems like he has his head on his shoulders, and that's what I feel like is going to determine how well this guy does in the UFC. If he can keep his head on straight, basically follow the path that Khabib laid out for him, and just kind of keep doing his thing. I mean, he doesn't talk trash. He doesn't really start a lot of shit. So if he keeps doing his thing, it's really going to be hard to beat this guy, especially if his mentality is there. But then, I mean, you're looking at who he's fighting. Probably the most game opponent that Zabit has had so far. Well, definitely the most game opponent in Jeremy Stephens. He's got one of the most powerful left hands, pound for pound, in the UFC. I mean, the guy has a monster of a left hand, and if he catches you, he can put you out quickly. In a split second, that man can put you on the ground. But he is coming off a first-round loss to Jose Aldo, which we all know is a legend in the sport. Jeremy Stephens is definitely a veteran. I feel like if he continues his path and maybe goes on one more winning streak, the guy has absolutely solidified his place in the Hall of Fame. But coming off a first-round loss to Jose Aldo to a body shot isn't going to be the easiest thing to recover from. Again, he is a vet of the sport, and he knows how to handle the pressure, and he knows how to come off a loss and truly avenge himself and put on a great performance the next fight. It's just going to be really interesting to see where this fight goes. I think if Jeremy Stephens keeps it standing, he has a little bit of a chance. I mean, he's always got a puncher's chance, a boxer's chance that he's going to catch Zabit on the chin and knock him out. But looking at Zabit and then looking at Jeremy Stephens' fights, it just doesn't seem like they're on the same level. And I hate to say that. I'm a big Jeremy Stephens fan. I've followed him for years. I've watched all of his fights that have been on since I've been into the UFC. But he's going up against an absolute monster with Zabit Magomedsharipov. It's just Zabit brings a different kind of style and a different kind of tenacity to the octagon when he comes to fight. I mean, the guy puts on his show. He's so flashy and so exciting to watch. He can catch you from literally any angle, and his jiu-jitsu on the ground is top notch, absolutely top notch jiu-jitsu. He can roll you up in a ball before you even realize what happened. I mean, that's what happened to Brandon Davis. His head was tucked between his legs before he even understood what had just happened and how he got to that position. So I think if Jeremy Stephens can keep this fight standing, he's got a true chance to win the fight. But if Zabit does what Zabit does and takes control of this fight and truly handles the fight and conducts the fight in the way he wants it to be done, if he wants to keep it standing, he can keep it standing. If he wants to take you down, he can take you down in an instant. So that's going to be the differentiating factor here. If Jeremy Stephens can fight his fight, he's got a true chance to beat Zabit and kind of derail this superstar plunge that the guy is taking. I mean, Zabit has Joe Rogan behind him saying he's one of the best he's ever seen. And once you have that, you have a lot of fans that are going to follow suit and trust what Joe Rogan is saying, as they should. I mean, the man is a legend in the sport. He's helped build the UFC to what it is. So it makes sense that people trust what Joe Rogan has to say. And when Joe Rogan is so hot on someone that he's saying he's one of the best he's ever seen, if not the best he's ever seen, in Zabit, that says a lot about this guy's potential and what he can do with this career in the UFC. So as far as the fight goes, I think Zabit does take it. I think he takes it in round 2. It's only going to be a 3-round fight. It's going to be interesting to see Zabit in a 5-rounder, but right now he's up against Keremy Stevens at 235. I think he takes it in the second by, if anything, he'll probably tap him out. I can see him knocking him out too. I can see Zabit keeping this fight standing and kind of banging with Keremy Stevens, but more so I see him taking it to the ground in the second round after he kind of fills everything out, finds his range, and tapping Keremy Stevens out. I don't think Keremy Stevens will be able to handle the kind of pressure that this guy brings on the ground or standing for that matter. So we'll go with second round tap out. Zabit takes it. It's going to be a great fight to watch. Keremy Stevens and Zabit both are going to bring the fight to each other. They're going to stand and bang. It's going to be a great fight for the fans. So I'm definitely going to be watching this one, going to be paying attention to how this turns out, because it's going to say a lot about what Zabit does in the future and how he kind of propels himself forward after this fight. So yeah, again, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. It helps more than you guys understand. I'm truly trying to grow this channel and become a staple in the UFC. So I want these videos to get out there. I want them to get in front of people's eyes, and the way you all can help me do that is by subscribing. So I truly appreciate it a ton if you click the subscribe button. Definitely stay tuned for the next couple videos. I definitely want to talk about Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler on this card. We still got to talk about a lot of things when it comes to John Jones versus Anthony Smith. So there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about at 235, and we're definitely going to get into it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Again, make sure to subscribe. I hope I'm not overstretching my boundaries here, but it truly helps out more than you know. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thank you.